Tesi try to analyze how we are influenced every day by everything that surrounds us. We are in contact every day with messages formulated to persuading us. But what is the persuasion? Persuading means influencing the interlocutor's mind with arguments, reasons, suggestion to change his attitude towards an object, a person, or an idea. Persuasion therefore uses arguments, but they are more emotional and affective than dialectical and rational. The main weapon of persuasion is suggestion, that is to say, a suggestion of action that orients and conditions the behavioral choice of the interlocutor. Persuasive communication relies on the principle of the psychology of persuasion and makes us of rational arguments and emotional stimuli to change the attitude of the person receiving the message. A famous American psychologist, Robert Cialdini, marketing professor at the Arizona State University, is internationally known for being one of the leading scholars of the social psychology of persuasion. In one of his most famous books, Influence the Psychology of Persuasion, he analyzed the six principles that guide human behavior. Reciprocity, that relies on the unconscious need we feel to reciprocate a favor received. It is based on the gift theory. If a person does us a favor, we have to do one too for the next occasion. By virtue of the reciprocity rule, we are obliged to repay favors, gifts, invitation, and like. Commitment and consistency is a principle that says that man has the fundamental need to feel consistent with his own ideas and decisions, and to be considered a reliable person who keeps his word. Social proof. According to this principle, one of the means that we try to decide what is right is to try to find out what others consider right. The principle is especially important for determining what is correct behavior to keep in a given situation, and the action of the people we have around will play an important part in our decision. Sympathy. This principle tells us that those who want to get assent to his request will do everything to inspire sympathy, and there are factors that make us like one person more than other. These factors are beauty, likeness, complement, contact, cooperation, and association. Authority. According to this principle, it's difficult for us to say no to a person who represents an authority. And scarcity. And according to this principle, opportunities appear to us more desirable when their availability is limited. The idea of a potential loss plays a very important role in the process of human decision making. We find persuasion in everything that surrounds us. In politics, teaching, advertising, and mass media. In each of these fields, there are factors to persuade us and make us change our mind about an idea, product, or inclination. The means that politicians use to drag a crowd are the affirmation, the repetition, and the contagion. Beside every self-respecting guide of the people and his staff, study the non-verbal communication and the body language, aimed to strengthening what we are saying. In advertising, the factors that most induce people to appreciate a certain commodity are exposure, the association of the product with place and content, and the effect of striptease. When we talk about persuasive teaching, it is the one that uses teachers and instructors. For a teacher, it's essential to maintain a body language and non-verbal communication that capture the attention and curiosity. Plus, a good teacher must have authority and not reveal any sign of weakness or boredom or fatigue because they do not favor the caution. The mass media, represented by press, television, mobile phone, and internet, and they influence the culture and the perception of reality, and proposing models and lifestyle that rely on social desirability. The mass media calibrate the message both by distorting the original meanings of their content and tend to package cultural products that not stimulate critical reflection but only sensory emotion. Persuasion can be also cool or occult, refer to a communicative technique through which one tries to pass contact to a listener below the threshold of his consciousness. Thanks to this strategy, we should overcome the defenses of the subject and induce him to act in a positive direction. Of this phenomenon, talk about Vance Packard in this book, The Hidden Persuaders. Based on a long and careful study of documents and interviews, it sheds light on how American capitalism, towards the end of the 50s, avoiding under-consumption crisis through practice borrowed from sociology and psychology. Nowadays, there are various techniques to get messages to us in occult mode. These are subliminal message that penetrates the human mind below the threshold of learning and awareness. The transmission of a subliminal message can take place through images, written text, sound that only apparently illustrate a given topic while concealing within it further phrases or images divorced from the initial context that would remain unconsciously in observed memory. Storytelling can be defined as a science of art of communicating telling stories. In marketing, we speak of corporate storytelling. It means taking advantage of the extraordinary power of stories to connect directly to the emotion of the consumer in order to increase the popularity of a brand. And finally, we have the Overton window. It's a scheme of communication, persuasion, and manipulation of the masses that work through a geometric progression that involves TV, newspaper, internet, institutional politics. The unacceptable become acceptable and even compliant and legalized. Nowadays, in the digital age, the media have set their presence in society. We are bombarded with messages that pursue us even if we don't look for them. Just think about when we turn on the television without wanting to contact millions of advertising that, in a totally invisible way, try to get us to do something. TV, radio, newspaper, magazine, and cinema influence our lives, imposing novelty and fashions. In conclusion, in the digital age, we must have always protect and carry forward our thinking without being influenced by everything that surrounds us and try to push us to do or think something that doesn't belong to us, and only the possession of a correct critical spirit can put us to safe from the risk of manipulation.